guys, what's up? This is Chrissy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have 3 easy and delicious recipes for you. The first recipe I have for you is split pea soup in the crock pot. The first thing we're going to do is add a bag of green split peas and 6 cups of water to our crock pot. To season my soup, I'm using 1 packet of Sazon Goya and 6 teaspoons of chicken bouillon powder. I am also adding 1 heaping tablespoon of minced garlic and 2 bay leaves. And now it's time to add our vegetables. I'm using carrots, celery, potatoes, and onions, and I'm trying to cut them relatively uniform in size. Once you have your vegetables all cut up, you can add them to your pot. Cut your ham into bite-sized pieces and add that to the pot. Give everything a good stir, put the lid on your pot, and cook on high for 6 hours. Here's what it looked like when it was done. I put a dollop of sour cream on top of mine and ate it with a piece of Italian bread. It was so delicious. The next recipe I have for you is pesto chicken with tomatoes. We're going to start by making the topping for our chicken, and how we do this is we're going to chop our cherry tomatoes in half or into thirds for the larger ones. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of minced garlic and half of a diced onion. I had a half of a diced onion in my freezer, so that's what I used. And now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of dried basil or 2 tablespoons of fresh basil and salt to taste. Add a few splashes of balsamic vinegar and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Now toss everything together and mix it well. This recipe works well with thin chicken breasts, so I'm going to take these thicker ones and cut them in half. And now we're going to spread our pesto over our chicken. You can use as little or as much as you'd like. I love pesto, so I'm being generous with it. Spread our tomatoes over the chicken and all of the juices that have accumulated in the bowl. Part, the cheese. We're going to generously spread cheese all over the top of this. This part's optional, but I sprinkled the top of mine with some Italian seasoning for some extra flavor. We're going to bake this in the oven at 400 for 20 to 30 minutes. While your chicken is cooking, it's time to make some pasta. I'm using some spaghetti, but you can use any type of pasta that you want. And make sure you generously salt the water and don't break your spaghetti in half if that's what you're using. Drain your pasta and put it back into the pot. Do not rinse your pasta. Keeping the seasoning on the pasta pretty simple because there's so much flavor in the chicken. I'm only using some olive oil, salt, and Italian seasoning. Here's what it looked like when it was done. This was so delicious. The house smelled so good. Guys, I wish you could smell this. It was so good. Last recipe I have for you is red wine braised pot roast in the crock pot. The first thing we're going to do is generously season our chuck roast with salt, pepper, and thyme on both sides. And then we're going to sear our chuck roast on all sides to seal in the juices. The oil that you use should have a high smoke point. I'm using avocado oil, but you can use any oil that you want, and you want to do this before adding it to your crock pot. Thickly slice an onion and add that to your crock pot as well. And now comes the fun part. We're going to add the wine. We're using 2 cups of Cabernet Sauvignon, 2 cups of beef broth, and a 1/4 cup of tomato paste. We're going to add them together in a bowl and mix them well, then pour them over our chuck roast in the crock pot. Cover your crock pot and cook it on high for 6 to 7 hours or low for 8 to 9 hours. The longer you cook it, the more tender it is, so I like to go low and slow. I'm going to be making a simple side dish of roasted potatoes, and I'm going to start by cutting these baby potatoes in half or in third for the larger ones. To the bowl with the potatoes, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, salt, and thyme, and then mix it well. Evenly spread your potatoes out on a lined baking sheet and cook at 400 degrees for about 40 minutes. And here's what everything looks like when it was done. This was so delicious and comforting. It was rainy and cold today, and this really hit the spot. We served it with a little bit of broccoli on the side, and it just was so good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your support. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification so that you're notified every time I post. You can also follow me on Instagram at everyday_tidbits because I would love for you to be a part of my YouTube and Instagram family. I hope everyone's being safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.